me and you were going to have a quick conversation about that article.
All right.
Which, did you read it?
Yeah.
And here's the thing, right? It's protectionist.
Yeah. It's
And
totally
the problem I have with all of these people at the moment is that while I totally agree that there are questions and reasons for why we need to be exploring it, the attitude is protectionist.
Well, it's not only that. I think it's also the fact that he's arguing that along the lines that art is unique when it's done by human beings. And that's total bullshit because
it's snobby.
I haven't heard a musical track in the last 20 years that you can't say is derivative, which is why you end up in extreme cases having artists take other artists to over copyright issues. But is there really anything anymore? I mean, you go to a movie and you think, oh, yeah, that kind of reminds me of this. He is arguing here that AI is destroying uniqueness because it's, human beings. I think the thing is that this just shows how the world has to have a wake-up call because we're now in a totally new age where we're mixing all sorts of stuff up. And, don't forget in the 2000s, early 2000s, something in the internet period, you remember when there was all that kind of music mix-up of things where people took a Beatles album and then mixed it up with a hip-hop album. Do you remember that famous case, the White Album? And that was incredible and was absolutely fantastic, and it was downloaded everywhere until the record companies got involved and said, no. But, we are now taking stuff and moving it into a different direction. So this is just typical elitism.
Yep. But here's what I think that sums it up from, right? Because he goes on about the algorithmic nature. Yeah. Here's the misnomer and also it's a naivety, right? Yeah. And I think the key line here is he is not understanding what you said at the front end of this, which is human beings have been, especially in the last 30 years of what's been going on in commercial spaces for these experiences across art and writing and everything, music. It's a naivety, and it's two things. It's elitism, snobbishness, and naivety, because he says the machine is algorithmically trying to create things, but human beings have been doing this themselves anyway. Yeah. Like as you just said at the front end, the nature of human endeavors is that they have constantly been creating formulas, and okay, the human being has been working through the formula, but at the end of the day, all commercial music has been exploring effectively these formulas. Movies explore these formulas. Best-selling books explore these formulas. Okay, so once again, what's happened, though, is now a machine can do it en masse for anyone, and this is the problem for me. The snobbishness is their misunderstanding that, okay, now that a human being... now that it can be done faster and more and more basically consistently, they're unhappy. Yeah. And also the naivety, which is to say, as you say, it's like naive to go, well, this kind of replication and formulaic nature of things. So in a way, you replace, all you're doing is going, instead of formulaic algorithm, because an algorithm is just a replicable space. Yeah. Algorithm is about creating replicable things, right? Yeah. We've been formulaically doing this, and now a machine can do it algorithmically, which is still formulaic, and you're upset. And it's the naivety. Yeah, totally. How dare you sit there and go, machine... But human beings have been creating formulaic spaces for these things forever, especially in the last 50 years of capitalism or commercialism.
Yeah, but also I thought... the sign of that elitism is art. He goes on and on about...
Well, that's the snobbishness.
Something similar holds true for art.
No, because again, that's the snobbishness. And again, in like anything in art, who are you to say what's art and what's not? Yeah. You don't get to define it.
No.
This has been the modern art conundrum or argument about modern art. The person who throws a whole bunch of toilet seats on the ground and says it's art and someone else says it's not. Yeah. So, it's totally also kind of, I think, almost a NIMBYism.
Yeah, it's such snobbishness. But I mean, we're watching at the moment, right now, we're watching a Netflix crime drama set in a murder thing set in the White House. It's an absolute carbon copy of Agatha Christie's famous Murder on the Orient Express.
Except it didn't White House.
But right down to the woman, the bird watcher, it is Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express, which was huge and still is.
And was it great? And it's been duplicated in other forms.
Yeah. So while I'm watching
like Shakespeare,
while I'm watching it, is I'm thinking she's going through the carriages of the train, but she's actually going.
Oh my God! And I didn't even realize that till you suddenly pointed that out to me. You're exactly right, because I haven't seen enough of them. But you're right. She's just moving through the carriages of the train.
Yeah, there's nothing new in this.
It's not. Well, it's fresh.
Well, it's fresh.
It's a fresh
But
take.
it's a total fresh take, and it's quirky, and it's up to date because you've got a president with a husband and blah, 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 and you've got all these great characters. But that was what made Agatha Christie. All these crazy characters, and exactly the same thing. You kept thinking you got the suspect, then something happened, and then you realise that it wasn't. The thing, all I'm saying about that is, this is total bullshit, because tell me what's new, Mr. New Yorker. Tell me what is absolutely 100% new. You can't point to anything that is 100% new. And what he is saying is, but, they're humans creating.
Yeah, and it's actually, in a sense, almost a level of arrogance to say the only intelligence that matters is humans. But I agree with you. He's also just basically forgetting that everything that he does to create stuff comes from his experiences, which are also a combination of ideas and duplications and replications. Yeah. So the problem is with all of these artists and all these people is also, and you can't get past the fact that, quite frankly, for me, it is a sense of embedded, not embedded, but it's a sense of they don't want things to change.
No.
Threatening. It's threatening to them. The loudest voices are those that are threatened.
Yeah, and don't forget, publications like The New Yorker is a magazine. And magazines are under threat, and journalism is under threat, and opinion writers are, So this is all mixed up in his world that he's absolutely terrified by the fact that he refuses to accept that there could be any credibility whatsoever in a technology approach to anything.
Yeah. And that's another great part there, which is the augmentation of technology. And what's happened in a way, another great line we need to just capture here, and we'll identify this as one of our another key point for actually, is for me, it's the ongoing nature of the augmentation of technology in human usages, right? Yeah. In this case, it's creativity, right? Which has first of all been a threat because they never thought, which I did in that interview, that presentation, right?
Yeah.
People pointing out that basically we didn't think that AI would be something for creative, but it turns out it can be. Yeah. But here's the thing: the augmentation. Every time the augmentation line changes, people get upset.
Yes.
Photoshop. When Photoshop and desktop publishing turned up, graphic designers said it was the end of the world and all sort of things.
Exactly.
Then we basically saw the the rise of basically, I don't know, there was another change, right? But the point is that every time augmentation of technology helping humans changes, it's a threat. And people basically circle the wagons.